Hey there, Lancaster educators. Avra here with Cami. So I know that many of you are new to Cami and just kind of starting to figure out what this tool can do. And my colleague Steve has been your guide so far. Steve has been facilitating sessions for coaches and different educators, trying to help folks figure out what Cami can do, and better yet, how can it support all of our learners in the classroom? How can you as teachers design learning environments that meet the needs of all of your learners? Recently, Steve facilitated a session that unfortunately, due to technical difficulties, wasn't recorded. And so Steve and I chatted and we decided to try to put together some video clips to share some ideas and concepts that were explored that day. And we want you to know that as you watch these video clips, if you have any questions, you can reach out to us at any time. So not only is Cami a great tool for teaching and learning, but it's also a company that hired a group of teachers, many of us with advanced degrees and lots of experience in the classroom. I'm a veteran educator. I've been teaching since 1996. I was a technology coordinator, I was a technology coach, and I was also a third grade teacher at one point. So many of us have a lot of experience and we really know what it's like to be in the classroom. And we can do whatever it takes to help you be successful with this tool. So what does that look like practicality wise, right? It means that we can meet with a faculty. We can meet with a group of chemistry teachers. We can get together with a grade level. It doesn't matter, small groups, large groups, individuals. It's literally our job and our pleasure to help support you as you use Cami in the classroom. So let's get started taking a look at some practical things that we can do with Cami to support student learning. Let's take this note-taking mechanism as an example of ways that we can explore the different possibilities in Cami. So we've got a Cornell Notes basic structure here, but if you'll notice on the right-hand side, as the teacher is creating opportunities for students to engage with the content, he has offered 3 different options. You'll notice it says here, your choice, watch, listen, or read. So in Cami, utilizing our comments tool, teachers can create a comment with a YouTube video. They can also create a comment with a link. This is a Google Drive link to a podcast that explores the concepts about the French Revolution. Then there's also a link here to the reading. So the teacher is able to share the content in a variety of ways with students in order for them to make a choice about how they want to engage with that content. Do they want to watch? Do they want to listen? Do they want to read? So the mechanics of creating these scaffolds, these different options for students in the margin is very simple. You just simply use the comment tool as a teacher. Be aware that the comment tool is something that's available for teachers and students in Cami. Teachers get to determine which tools students have access to at all times. And so students can also use text comments or voice comments or video comments or even screen capture comments. So all of these different comments were created with the text comment tool. The way that you do that is by pasting in the YouTube URL into a text comment, and then the YouTube video appears here. You can see that these are both text-based comments as well. It's important to note that the voice comment also works really well. So this could be a way for teachers to be able to verbally explain instructions to students as well as have them written on the page. Again, offering that voice and choice, offering those different modalities for students to choose from as they're taking in information, even information as simple as, how do I get started doing this part of the assignment? This comment tool can also be utilized by students. So let's say that students are taking notes, or perhaps they're doing this reflection here at the bottom. And instead of typing something out, they can simply click, and then now they're recording. So they're able to record for up to 5 minutes, and they can have as many recordings as they'd like. So beyond the text comment and the voice comment, we also have video comment and screen capture. Video comment is going to be your front-facing video of your device, of your computer. So this is going to be the way that you can record the physical environment. So students in a note-taking environment might do something like having a conversation with one another, and they might decide to record that. As a teaching tool, you might utilize it to write something on your board and record yourself doing it, or be showing some other physical element in your classroom, like a map or science equipment, for example. So lots of different possibilities with the video. The video can be up to 20 minutes long, and there's no limit to how many video or voice comments you can have in a document. Then there's also the screen capture option. The screen capture option is going to be like Screencastify. So this will be your screen recording tool. So I'm going to go on down to the bottom of this document where I've got a blank page and just kind of mention that this is a wonderful way for teachers or students to be able to record their screen and maybe even solve a math problem, for example. So teachers could click and start to record their screen, and then, use something like the drawing tool. Now, it's important to note that if you're using a device that has a stylus, so perhaps you have an interactive whiteboard in your classroom, or you've got a Microsoft Surface computer that has a stylus, or some sort of tablet, that kind of thing, this is obviously done much more easily than it is with my MacBook right now. But you can absolutely record your screen. Now, this is just one example. The screen capture comment is also a really wonderful way of showing students what to do. So even showing them things like, hey, there's a dictionary tool here that you can use, and you can click on a word and you can have words defined for you, things like that. So you can show them how to use programs, how to use Kami or any other tool, because when you record your screen, you can tell it to record the entire screen, meaning that, it could be just a specific tab if you wanted, or a specific window. I usually choose entire screen, and that way I can move in and out of different tabs and different programs in order to create video for my students that will show them kind of how to work through a series of directions, for example. So let's think about now our students going through the process of doing this assignment, right? We're going to have them explore the new content, take some notes, and kind of just try to assimilate this new information into their own understanding. As we look at the right-hand side here in the margin, we've got different ways to take in that information. So the teacher, as we've said, has given the option to watch or listen or read. Let's look at the possibilities if students choose to read the information. So when they click on this, they're going to get a copy of the reading, for example. Some basic kind of granular tools to be aware of in Kami are things like the dictionary or the read aloud tool, and of course the markup tools. So the dictionary is something that kids can click on, and then they can click on any word in the reading. That word will be defined for them. And there's also a read aloud tool that's built into the dictionary. So not only the word, but also the definition can be read aloud to students. Additionally, we have a general read aloud tool as well. So students can highlight any section of text.
The French Revolution begins.
And have those words read to them. So when we think about read aloud, we often think about young students or English learners or struggling readers. And actually, read aloud will deepen comprehension for many people. So this is, interestingly enough, this is something that I didn't realize until I was getting my master's. I was always a strong reader when it came to fiction, but as I was delving into some of the meatier topics throughout, that degree program, I found myself reading aloud to myself as I read nonfiction. And it helped me kind of deepen my understanding. So one strategy to mention to students that they might not consider if they consider themselves a strong reader would be to use the read aloud tool. Listen to those words being read as well as reading them on the page at the same time. So the read aloud tool can be a wonderful way for students to just deepen their comprehension as they're exploring new information. Another strategy that they might use is to read a section of text and then use the comment tool and the voice comment to kind of paraphrase what they've read, to kind of, restate some ideas and just try to be clear and concise about what they just learned. You can put this in a way that's kind of fun. You can say to kids, you're leaving yourself an audio clip, a voicemail, if you will, as a way of just remembering the things that you just learned on this page or in that paragraph. So there's a lot of strategies and tools that are built into Kami that sometimes people don't think about as they're thinking through strategies for successful note taking and understanding of new information. Now, something that most people do think about, and just for you to be aware of, is the text highlighter, the freehand highlighter, the box highlighter. So just very quickly, our text highlighter is going to be your nice and neat way of being able to highlight a section of text. The freehand highlighter is going to be a little bit more like a marker. That's going to be reliant on your fine motor skills, but also kind of just act more like a marker in order to be able to circle things and mark up the page in a more informal way. Whereas the text highlighter is kind of that straight, perfect, line at a time kind of thing. And then the box highlighter is wonderful because this will just draw a whole box for you. So this is a way that students can, highlight a large section of information at one time. And of course, there's strike through and there's underline and there's many different colors from which to choose. So lots and lots of possibilities there for students as they're kind of working through annotating a text and taking in new information. Another option for students in Kami is graphic organizers. So when we're wanting to make sense of information, when students are looking to organize information into some kind of visual representation, they can head to the Add Media tool here at the bottom left. And from here, they can choose graphic organizers. So they could quickly and easily grab one of these graphic organizers and put it on a page. Let's head down to a blank page where we have a little bit more room. And you can see I can click on this graphic organizer, the Venn diagram, and it's just an image that's on the page, can be made larger and smaller. And then students can put text boxes on top of it in order to kind of structure information into that visual representation to make sense of it and to work through the note-taking process. Lastly, one other feature of Kami that I really want to mention is what's called feature control. So feature control is the ability for teachers to be able to control the features and tools that students find here in the toolbar on the left-hand side. So in this case, we're in this digital notebook and the teacher has left it open-ended. All of the tools are available here. However, I want you to know that at any time, if you as a teacher feel that your students would be better off not having access to all of these different tools. For example, maybe you're in an English language arts classroom or a social studies classroom and you don't need the equation editor tool, or perhaps you don't feel like kids need the drawing tool or shapes. Any of these tools can be turned off at any time. We have a whole video on how to work through feature control, and we'll share that with you. But I just want you to kind of see what it looks like. This is an example of an assignment where the toolbar has been limited by the teacher. And this will help reduce distractions for students. This will help reduce overwhelm. So, the Add Media tool is here. However, some of the different options like stickers or Microsoft OneDrive were turned off because they're superfluous. They're not needed for this particular assignment. So just be aware that you as the teacher can really help customize the learning environment for students. You can also show your students how to customize certain aspects of Kami. So for example, in the Read Aloud tool, we have the option to change the voice. This is a wonderful tool for students because they can choose the speed at which text is read to them. They can also choose the pitch. They can also change it to a different language if need be. So if there was a world languages class or multilingual learners, if they need to have those texts that are written in Spanish or French or some other language read to them, that can happen as well. So that customization is something that can happen at the student level if teachers allow it. Additionally, up in the top right, we're going to see a circle with people's initials in them. In here, you'll find things like display language and theme. So all of Kami can be changed to a different display language. If you've got students that are fluent in other languages, you can also change it over to being in a dark mode, that kind of thing, if it will help with visual fatigue for some of your students as well. So these small tweaks sometimes can be the key to making the learning environment more accessible for students, more navigable, and just overall a better learning environment for them. It's really important to empower students whenever possible to make these small tweaks, these small changes, in order to find ways for themselves to be successful. And getting them to talk about what makes them successful in any learning environment can also be really beneficial as well. So, building some of those metacognitive skills, asking students not only what they learned, but why they learned it. Why do you think you were successful as you learned about the French Revolution throughout the course of this notebook? That kind of thing. So these have just been some of the ideas that we wanted to share with you about the ways that Kami can support student learning. Please remember, if you have any questions about Kami or how your particular curriculum and pedagogy can be integrated with Kami, we are literally here to help at any time. So please just reach out. Thanks so much for watching.